Today we ask, what's what? Amps come in all shapes and sizes, particularly in terms of power. You have everything from 0.5 watt mini Marshalls all the way up to 150, 200 watt oranges. But which one? Which one is right for you? How can you tell the difference? How can you tell which one to choose? So let's start here. What is a watt? Watts are power. Now for valve amps, what that effectively means is how much headroom you have, how hard you can push an amp until it naturally overdrives. If you look at the old Fenders, they're like 65 and 80 watts, you can push those really loud and they will stay clean. Whereas with something like an AC30, which is 30 watts, you can push it just as hard, but it will break up a lot earlier. Think Brian May's sound. What it basically comes down to is 4 points for you to consider to decide which one you need. Different power ratings will compress and saturate the signal differently. 100 watt will have much less compression than a 30 watt. So let's have a quick listen to a comparison of 4 different power ratings. Now for this overdrive, what I'm actually talking about is power amp overdrive rather than preamp. Preamp overdrive is your typical distortion. Think Messrs, think Orange, think Marshall. Power amp overdrive is much more subtle. It's less aggressive, but it will change the character of the sound of the amp. It can make it a lot warmer. The point is, which do you prefer? Do you prefer preamp distortion or do you prefer power amp distortion? I'll be doing a separate video on power amp distortion versus preamp, but as a little taster, let's just have a quick look at these. At sociable levels or gigging levels, you're only really going to get power amp distortion with lower wattage. So what you have to do is try the different watts and find out. So depending on where you're playing will drastically affect what type of wattage you want. And this comes back to the overdrive again. If you're playing a pub or a small club, you're not going to be able to push a 100 watt amp all the way up. It will deafen everybody in the room, you won't even be able to hear the drummer. But at the same time, if you have something like a 4 or 5 or even a 15, it will struggle to be louder than the drummer. So you really need to think about how big a space you're going to be playing in and how loud you need to be respective of the rest of the band. A 30 watt will most likely be more than enough for 9 out of 10 gigs until you start getting to bigger arena or larger venues. Money is the be all and end all. The long and the short is, the more power, the more you're likely to spend. If we look at the new Victory amps, the 50 watt Earl and the 100 watt, there's a significant difference between the two. Compare that with Messrs and Marshalls and everything, you will find the higher the wattage, the more it will cost. So how much can you afford? So this is the first of my G.A.S diaries. I hope you found it enlightening and it's given you some food for thought in purchasing your next amp. Please remember, subscribe, comment, I want to hear what your thoughts are on this, and thanks for watching.